And welcome to Profile Pod TV. I'm your host, Double A. Welcome back here for another spectacular episode of the pod. We have another special one in store for you with another spectacular guest. It's never a dull moment here on this podcast, but because the guests that we bring on are superb. Like I said, it's what we do is we bring on individuals who are doing extraordinary things in life to inspire the human spirit. And tonight's guest is no exception to that. Before we get to her, let me just remind you to follow us on Instagram, subscribe to Profile Pod TV right here. If you want to show support, that's one way to do it. That's a great way to do it. I would really appreciate it. Just click on that bottom right hand corner logo, the purple logo there, and hit subscribe, and you're all good. Leave me a rate and review on Apple Podcasts and all that good stuff, right? Drop me a DM on Instagram. Give me some feedback on the show. Tell me how ugly you think I am. I don't know, whatever. Just to get, I love interacting with the guest. Well, obviously the guest, but the audience, and it's always fun. It's always fun to get feedback and all that good stuff. So I appreciate everybody who's here. If you're here on the audio platforms, obviously I really appreciate you. And if you're on YouTube watching, thank you so much. So let's get going here. Let's get going to our guest. Our guest here hails out of Los Angeles, California. By way of North Carolina. This is the great state of North Carolina. She's here in California now. She's a singer, songwriter, entrepreneur. She's got a lot of big things going. She just dropped her EP, Starry Eyed, a few months back, and we're going to hear all about it. We're going to hear what inspires her, future goals, plans, and where she's headed, because she's definitely headed for the stars. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome Alexandria Filipowski. Welcome, Alex. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you today?
Oh, thank you. I'm great. Thank you for asking. Thank you for taking the time. It's been a pleasure. I mean, you know, we scheduled this obviously a few months ago, and here we are.
Here we are. I'm so happy to be here, and it's wild. You think like, oh, that's so far in advance, and yeah, we're here now. Time is sneaky like that.
It really is. It really is. I remember as a kid thinking, oh my gosh, it's like 3 months away. It's so far away. And then that's life though, right? It's life. Time, like you said, it sneaks up on you, and here we are. But yeah, how's everything going today for you? How was your day?
Everything is going well. I briefly was telling you beforehand, we're in the process of moving, which happened kind of unexpectedly. We found a place up in North Hollywood. So kind of just getting things together. It's been like kind of like a hustle and bustle thing to just get little things that you forget about put together, like Wi-Fi you have to wait for, a week and a half, little things that put your life on halt. And so we've been doing a good job just making whatever we can work for the day, getting comfortable. So I can't complain.
Yeah, moving's always boatloads of fun, right?
I actually have moved so much since college. Like in college, I feel like I moved into different places so much, and then afterwards moved into different apartments, houses so much. And I almost started to get like not addicted to moving, but I always felt as I upgraded in my life, I needed a place to kind of mirror where I was feeling in life. So if I wanted to push myself out of my comfort zone, or if I wanted to make more money financially, I was like, okay, I got to push myself, because right here I'm stuck here. So what can I do to, mirror where I'm at now? So it kind of feels good to get out of my little tiny apartment that I had in Hollywood. Now more rooms.
Yeah, that's always nice to get more space. But I like how you put that. Yeah, you kind of, you want to live kind of where where it mirrors how you're feeling and what your goals are at that moment in life. And yeah, good for you. No, that's great. I'm glad to hear you guys are moving along. And but yeah, let's talk about Starry Eyed. Let's get right into it. You dropped Yeah. You dropped your EP. It's an EP, right? It's how many is it, 6 songs on the EP on Starry Eyed?
It's 5 songs. It's
5
4
songs.
solo songs, and then one duo project with Surf, who also produced and engineered the album. We actually didn't intend on that 5th song being placed on the album, but it ended up working out so well that we were just like, okay, let's do a duo track on there too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. No, and by the way, I love Another Land. I really
Thanks.
liked it.
Yeah,
I think,
fun
yeah.
one.
Say again.
Oh, it was a fun one. Yeah, we were like, let's include that, because that was just a fun experience to make. And it kind of went with the whole taking you to a different level of thinking, taking you to another land, another place. So it kind of all worked out with Starry Eyed.
Absolutely. I think that's such an appropriate title, Flip, because yeah, like you said, it takes you to another place, another land, yeah, another kind of thing. Like you kind of just you get lost and you, in a good way though. I mean, I'm saying you really just kind of lose yourself and just kind of enjoy where the music takes you and wherever that you want to go. I think that's a cool again, that's a great title, and the entire EP is really, really cool. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
Yeah, no, of course. You're welcome. You're welcome. And you basically, so you released it in February, like
Yes.
you said, produced by Surf. How long did it take to produce the entire album from beginning to end?
Oh, so it was definitely a year in the making. Um, I had always been such a fan of music. I played instruments when I was growing up, but I was always that person who like sung in the shower and was absolutely mortified to sing in front of anybody. I like wanted, I had like this secret idea. I was like, I hope someone like randomly catches me one day and like tells me I'm just super good at singing. But I was too afraid to put myself out there. So I never did anything with it. I was always like a huge consumer of music, always like throughout high school, like middle school, high school, college, was always like looking for the new band, the new artist, something fresh, something unique. And I ended up in the fashion world for about 6-7 years, was working in corporate fashion. So I was always kind of there, intermixed with music, but never confident enough to do it myself. Just by chance ended up meeting Surf. And one night he was like, let's just like make a song for fun. And it was, something completely different. Like one of the first nights we hung out. And then as COVID hit and the pandemic hit and him and I were starting to hang out more in general, it was like, well, what is an outlet that we can use that, kind of turns something that seems really bleak and really upsetting into something that could be a fun experimentation time. We were the naive people that thought the pandemic was going to maybe last a month.
I did too. Trust me.
Right. So we were like, oh, let's just, do this. It'll be fun. Didn't really think about it. And we're just cutting a couple tracks. One of the first songs, which is Smile High Club, the first song on the EP, that was made, I believe, last June or maybe last May, actually, around this time. That was the first solo song that I felt like, wow, okay, I actually made, like, I would listen to this in the car. Like, I really, like, felt confident when I recorded it. And it just kind of, like, stood around for months, until we decided to make the project. And went back to it and I was like, okay, I definitely want to include that because that was at a time where once quarantine is over, like I remember writing it, being like, once quarantine is over, once this pandemic is over, I want everybody to be in the Smile High Club. Like, this is probably as low as we can go. Where can we go from here? Definitely wanted to include that. And then just after that song, I think Course was written like 2 weeks later. The Hill was written actually the night of Another Land. We actually had a really productive night in the studio, and that was like months later. That might have been even like January. So there were other songs that were like kind of coming in. Basically, I ended up finishing the EP at a time that I didn't realize it was going to be finished. I thought it was definitely going to need to have more time, and then it just kind of worked out.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So it basically, is all of 2020, would you say
I think so.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of songs that did not make it on
Um,
there. A lot of just like practice songs or fun songs. Or also, Surf and I made a lot of duo tracks that we think we're going to put on a different project. But when it came to solo songs and the ones that matched with the whole idea, then yeah, it probably took it took a whole year.
wow. Yeah. No, and that's, I mean, typically, did you guys set a kind of a date for, completion, or was it one of those where you just kind of went with the flow and you wanted kind of wanted to get it right and then worry about the release date later on?
Yeah, it was that for sure. I definitely wanted my first project to come out, and I can get lost in, the perfectionism, imposter syndrome kind of thing where it's like, okay, I could have spent 2, 3 years trying to master these 4 or 5 songs and realize that I'm never going to. That was actually one of the lines in Smile High Club is like, if I don't do it now, I'll never do it later. So it's kind of just like if people judge, it was like all those preconceived things that people could potentially think about me, oh, I was in fashion, I was over here, like, oh, what is she doing now? She's like so all over the place. Now she's making music. But I've always found myself so creative and so, quite honestly, ADD, that I get very bored easily when it comes to whatever I'm making. And I think that eventually I kind of go in a cycle where it's like all these other artistic ventures kind of come back together. And music really felt like all of it. I found a way to incorporate like writing, visualizing, almost like painting in my mind
Mm.
with music. So it just became this thing where had no idea I was going to be capable of it. I think deep down I knew that that was something I always wanted to do, and I just went for it.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah, that's really cool. As an artist, I'm sure you grew like exponentially as an artist, right?
I
Talk.
think
Go ahead. Yeah, well, I was gonna say, what give us some of the most some of the key things you learned as an artist through the process, through your journey recording Starry Eyed.
Oh yeah. Okay, so basically just this whole year, I think for everybody was a testament to learning about ourselves, what really makes us happy, um, how we can get really stuck very quickly. No pun intended. We were physically stuck,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
how can we mentally get stuck? What are really negative things that we do on a daily basis that don't progress us? And what are really positive things that help us progress and help us become the person we want to be? So it was a lot of just life lessons of ups and downs. Like, I think life is like that. It's always like this bell curve kind of flowing situation. But I think if life has been like this for most of us, this past year has been like this.
yes,
And so all of this, it's basically been like, okay, um, what have I been lacking when it comes to communicating with my loved ones? How do I communicate with my loved ones? Was I actually wasting a bunch of time doing stuff pre-pandemic that I don't feel like I resonate with, but it was to, impress other people or to do because I felt like that's just what society tells us to do. So, pre-pandemic, I was going out a lot. I'd always been like very nerdy growing up. So as I got into high school and college, I was like, I want to like do the cool people thing. And I learned how to do the cool people thing really well. I learned how to drink really well, learned how to party really well. And I just started to notice how much it wasn't bringing me to the part or the person I wanted to be. So a lot of that time that I would have been out, I really had time to reflect and, I'm a huge reader. This isn't even half of them set up yet. So it was like a lot of time that I never had before to read my books. The time I was out doing things with friends, it was like, okay, I can knit more sweaters, I can make more music. So it was just kind of re-meeting myself, if that makes sense.
yeah,
The album was definitely taking bits of pieces of myself and learning and kind of talking almost to a different character. I know at this point I'm kind of ranting, but
No.
the Smile High Club music video that's going to come out at the end of the month on the 28th.
Yep.
It's a fully illustrated music video, and that little character, FLYP, it was kind of like, that little character was literally going through different phases, dimensions, colors, ideas of life throughout the whole last year. So you kind of have to take that little part of you out, and that little part's got to go explore, figure out what they like, and go from there.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I like how it just everything kind of lines up with what happened in 2020. Well, if you think if the pandemic hadn't happened, FLYP, do you think you would have recorded this album?
That's the funniest part is, this is why I guess like everything happens for a reason. It's like as soon as I don't believe that anymore, then things will happen where it's like everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
I think I would have eventually tried to make music, but I think it could have taken way longer. I think I would have gotten maybe sidetrack's not the right word, but focused on an avenue that still wasn't bringing me as much happiness. Like maybe I would have stayed in fashion a lot longer. And I had already known, like in that business, I was like, this isn't doing it for me anymore. I love it, but I don't feel like, I see other people absolutely like eat, breathe, and love this industry. I'm not waking up like that excited for it. So I think I would have just, I probably would have found something. I think music was destined to find me no matter what, but this album definitely, the time and the place and all of the energy surrounding it, like, and definitely too, I owe it all to Surf to have, spent so much time with me in the studio producing and engineering it with me, because that was a whole other thing, is like without him it definitely wouldn't have come into creation, I don't think.
Yeah.
Or I would have had to find other people to work with. Yeah, so I think to answer your question, yeah, I think definitely because of this year and how Surf and I were actually quarantined together, that was a huge reason why the album happened and was able to be released in February.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've talked to so many people that have that started side businesses, podcasts, a lot of stuff, a lot of different stuff, right? And I think that was just naturally people having, maybe it was necessity, trying to find another income, or exploring themselves, because we had more time on our hands, but whatever the reason was. But it's interesting how that kind of, that's kind of the phenomenon of 2020, where, people just did things that they've always wanted to try for whatever reason, right? They kind of got out of their comfort zone. So, but yeah, no, that's great. That's great. I'm glad you produced Starry Eyed. And now what was the inspiration for for that concept? Well, you wanted to kind of the take the far out kind of the how do I describe it, in going into space, the cosmic kind of thing. What was the inspiration for that concept?
So not only, on like a piece of paper type of inspiration, I've always been interested in like aliens, metaphysics, space. The fact that I'm even existing right now blows my mind. And then the fact that we're all around, that tree is outside, not to go into that type of stuff, but I always am thinking.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm just always thinking of like, how on earth did we get here? All of those life questions, all of those space questions. That's kind of like the on paper definition. And then it was also just individually each song had a little bit of, almost like storytelling throughout my real life, like experiences that I've gone through that have led to growth and have led to kind of that feeling of going into completely different dimensions. Also, Smile High Club, definitely, especially with the video, probably comes off as an extreme drug song. But it's really just all about being high on life and really taking all in, the beauty around us, because I think a lot of us got very, very down. I know I did over the last year. It was just like low lows and high highs of like, okay, like we're almost through this. We're done. No, we're not. Like, that's as simple as I can put it. But it was starting to just really like sit with myself and being appreciative of the very present moment. And that's kind of where Smile High Club came from. Course was actually, I thought I was writing it about like sleep paralysis and dreams, but it actually ended up being like, just any of like people that you encounter in your life that somehow have a big hold on you, that try to take you off of the course you're supposed to be on. So that was almost like saying goodbye to previous people or instances that really didn't align with me. And I hope, I wrote it so other people, even if people are going through a breakup, like I hope you can listen to Course and be like, yeah, you were trying to take me off my course, like no longer. The Hill was another thing of like manifesting whatever you're thinking. So in the beginning, I'm sitting on the hill sinking in, it's real. I go into like, let's all get real drunk, but drunk, that can be a party song. The way I wrote it is like, let's just get drunk off of whatever is going on around us. Like life is wild. It makes, we do crazy things as humans. Love is crazy. Just being alive. There's just so many things that like, okay, it's sinking in, it's real. Let's make the most out of it. State of the World was probably like my darkest song, which it was like, I was basically talking about like the media, all of the news. It's like talking to a wall. You hear one thing, next day it's the next thing. Everybody's so incredibly emotionally inundated that we're turning on our best friends, because of belief systems or whatever it is. And that one was more of just like, the state of the world, like stay out of it, because it's always going to try to suck you in. The negative voids will always try to suck you in. And then Another Land was like, we'll take you all to a new place, have some fun. And that's kind of like individually where everything went. And then, sorry, to answer your question about like Starry Eyed, where I got that, concept was not only because it had all of the metaphysical and outer space stuff with it. It was also this idea of believing in myself, that if I wanted to do music, I'm feeling starry-eyed about it. I'm not making music to necessarily become a star, but it was that breakout moment of being super shy or like insecure as a kid, where it was like, okay, I got to like put myself into like starry-eyed, whatever that means for me, kind of just breaking out. And here I am and shining like a shining star.
No, that's beautiful. That is awesome. Hearing it from the artist herself, that is, I love this type of stuff. I love it. The meaning behind everything. And then, and then you leave it to the audience, right? To the listener to create their own interpretations and see where it takes them. Right. I think it's a beautiful thing.
For sure. Thank you.
Of course. No. And I like I love the title again, Starry Night, because, there's a famous painting. I think it was Starry. I'm sorry, not Starry Night. Starry Night is the painting. Starry Eyed is the album, and the Van Gogh painting, right?
Yeah.
Did you take anything from that? Any influence there from that painting with the title Starry?
You know what? I didn't even put that together, but there probably is something that I could find in there where I'm like, huh, like
Oh,
There's
so it's just a coincidence then. Yeah.
It's just a coincidence. Yeah, and also also a coincidence, and I completely forgot about the song until after releasing the album. But Ellie Goulding also has a song called Starry Eyed, which I'm sure you've heard it, where it's like the "We so starry eyed," and it's
Okay.
like EDM. But I actually completely forgot about that song but Ellie Goulding is a badass artist, so I was like, okay, I hope she doesn't mind.
No, no doubt. No, but so you grow up, and I kind of want to take it back a little bit, flip a little bit. What's
Yeah.
that?
Oh yeah, let's go back. Why not?
Yeah, you grew up in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Yeah.
And when did you well, talk about that experience a little bit. I could, and before, if I may mention, I was in the Navy, right? And
Okay.
for a few years, and I met people from all over the country, and in particular North Carolina. Everybody I met from North Carolina, super cool people, down to earth. Love the party though. That was the one thing the one common thing I met, I saw that in addition to being great people and very nice and cool and down to earth, very outgoing, they love to have fun, and very just, yeah, love to have a good time.
I think from an early age, you do learn to like host parties. Like that's a big thing is like, if you don't have 60 different cousins where you're always having reunions or parties, like you're going to your friend's cousin's reunion where you're meeting everybody. Everybody in the town knows who everyone is. And that's saying a lot coming from like social media days. It's like everybody just knew everybody in some way, shape, or form. And so growing up in North Carolina, my dad was originally from Chicago, my mom born and raised North Carolina. So we kind of, for my dad's job while I was very young until kindergarten, we're like traveling around the country. He had to travel a lot for his business. So I was very lucky that I saw a bunch of different spots. Then when kindergarten hit, we kind of finally settled in North Carolina. And I did in some way feel like an outcast for, a little bit here and there. I guess maybe like kindergarten through second grade, not really, but then like third grade was when you're starting to, become more of a little bit of a teenager. Kids are becoming more of their own person. I think I was a little bit more of like the nerdy kid, like deep down, but I tried really hard to be cool. I wanted to be like, I was like, I really just want people to like me. Like, I kind of grew up as an only child. My parents had me, my mom was 38, my dad was 42. So I was like, they say I wasn't an accident, but they met, and had me later in life, whereas my mom had my half brother when she was very young, and then my dad, when he was very young, had my sister and my other brother. So they came to me. I kind of grew up as an only child, was also around a lot of adults because my siblings were 22 years older than me. So I grew up feeling a little bit of an outsider. But I also loved where I was from too. It's hard to kind of explain. So as I grew up, even through high school, I was like, I'm ready to go explore the world. Like I'm either going to New York or California. Like I'm going to be a city girl. Like I want to get out of this hometown, this like little southern town. I don't know why my parents decided this one. Like why wouldn't they go, to like the cities that I see on the TV shows? Like, my naivete was like that. So ended up going to art school in Savannah, Georgia. But before I go there, now, whenever I go home to North Carolina, I am like absolutely in love with it. It's gorgeous. I definitely know that it's like home base and roots. And now I'm like, wow, when I was a kid, I was so ungrateful. Like I just didn't see the beauty behind all of this. Like, so growing up, I had a wonderful childhood there. And I can't be mad at it at all. But yeah, people do like to party, and you do, I guess because it's wide open spaces, you learn very young how to drink because everybody's drinking on the field.
Nothing else to do.
Yeah, nothing else to do. other friends' siblings that are a little older with fake IDs. You know? It was like, what field can we find tonight in high school and stuff? But
Yeah.
it was fun.
No doubt. Yeah. No, I want to. I've never been to North Carolina. I would love to go someday soon, sooner
Really
than later.
cool. And it's crazy how much it's grown since then. Especially like Asheville, North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, all of those towns, which like seems like bigger cities to Winston, are now actual like cities that are. I can't understand how different it is now, but it's so much fun. So definitely go.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And would you say you were introverted growing up, Flip?
I was definitely the kid who, I think also too, my parents were a little bit older, so they had already done the kids thing. They were, I don't know what it was, but it was just like, I was very easily entertained by coloring books, Game Boy. I was a huge video game lover, computer game lover. So I would just like, do my only child type things in the playroom, come down for dinner. So I learned how to entertain myself very easily. So I think that definitely stems from the introversion. And because I was so introverted and I was a little bit like, once I started to go to school and notice that everybody had like a bunch of siblings, I thought that was so cool. And I was like, oh, like I wish I had siblings that were closer to my age. And so I was like, okay, I should probably learn how to just be more outgoing. So I pushed myself to do that, meet new friends, try to be as outgoing as possible. So I think as I've gotten older, I'm definitely like introvert, extrovert, but you can like leave me alone in the house all day and I'll find something to do. Like I'm very easily entertained.
I
Yeah.
hear you. I hear. Yeah, I'm not. I can relate because I'm naturally an introvert myself. So yeah, it doesn't take much to entertain myself. For me to be entertained.
Yeah.
Now, musically speaking, Flip, growing up, what were some? Did you play any instruments? Did you sing at all? What did that look like growing up?
Yeah. So my first instrument was actually the third grade. We had like a third grade band program. So you could either play the flute, the clarinet, or the trumpet. I picked the flute.
Oh, okay.
I ended up like being really good at the flute for my age. So somehow I was doing that for the year. And then I got asked to be a part of the Winston Youth Symphony. And I freaked out and got so scared and so just like I don't know what it was. Stage fright.
Okay.
That I just couldn't do it. I was like, oh my gosh, like I love this instrument, but that's so scary to me. So I ended up not doing the symphony thing. I wanted to play the violin, the piano. Like I wanted to play everything. I really wanted to play the guitar, but my parents never let that one happen. I think that they were interested more in like the classical side of things, like
Yeah.
you can do like the violin. But it was a great way, since my dad always like worked so much in the tech industry. It was a way, for me to have some extracurriculars. So yeah, at first I did not start out playing sports at all until later. As like more kids are playing like soccer when they're really young, I was like doing flute, violin, and piano. Ended up not doing the flute and violin for as many years. Stuck with the piano for a while until I started getting really heavily into like field hockey sports in high school.
Oh, okay.
But I absolutely loved my music teacher. She was this amazing Russian woman who like was just like, okay, sit up and feel the piano, feel the music.
Uh-huh.
And you could just see in every part of her essence, like how much she just loved music. I still think about her today. Her name was Natalia. But that was definitely like, I always loved music. Aside from playing the instruments, my dad, huge character. Unfortunately, him and I are estranged now, so I haven't seen him since I was about 12 or 13. But he's always been a huge character. Very, what's the word? Not even unique. I'm losing my vocab right now.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna go with unique for right now.
Yeah. That'll work.
And he used to have almost like an addiction of buying CDs. Like he loved music. It was when I remember when the first like desktop iMacs came out and iTunes came out. He was like obsessed with putting all of his music on iTunes and thought it was the coolest thing. So I remember he bought like NWA, Lil Jon, Missy Elliott, the Monkees. He had everything. But the ones that were really fun to listen to with each other were like Missy Elliott, Lil Jon, Queen Latifah. He loved the Yin Yang Twins, so I learned some very dirty things very early on, which was unintentional. Like he just would play things like, and I would just happen to be there, and it was okay that I was listening. But I do think that was his way of like introducing me into cuss words before he accidentally said one around me. And ever since then, I've just been a huge like hip hop, rap fan, rock and roll fan. Never really dipped into country, which was more like my mom's side of things. But my mom definitely influenced me with like listening to the Beach Boys, listening to ABBA, listening to kind of just different genres. So I was lucky that I was given like a very eclectic basis for music and what we listened to in the house. I think there was always music playing.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what were some of those influences musically as well, so it sounded like you said, you had a pretty eclectic experience with a nice variety,
Yeah. So to this day, like my two top artists, no matter what, have always been like Black Sabbath / Ozzy Osbourne and then Missy Elliott.
Oh, wow. So interesting.
So I know they don't necessarily go together, but that was kind of like Black Sabbath brought me into watching someone super characteristic, super unique, someone as Ozzy Osbourne, coming through that band, learning about him. And I think also too, this was during the time where their reality show was on VH1.
Okay.
The Osbournes.
Yeah.
And so I just had like a double whammy of just like loving Ozzy Osbourne. And then, yeah. And Missy Elliott was just always like, I just thought that she was so badass as a female, doing so many cool music videos, having a completely different sound than anybody, I think, still today. I don't think anybody can touch Missy Elliott's direction, especially with creative direction. Just the way that she thinks about things, the way that she puts music together. I don't think I could put anyone next to her that says like, okay, you guys could battle. I don't think anybody could beat her. I really don't.
Yeah, she's definitely very original and unique.
Yeah.
No doubt. I like that, because I'm the very, I have a very eclectic taste in music.
Yeah.
I love
whatever your mood is feeling, like
yes,
you feed it with the music. Yeah,
exactly. And I love Black Sabbath, by the way. I love Ozzy.
I love it.
Yeah, and then you know what? I just thought of something. Starry Eyed, and I know Black Sabbath has some of those kind of those cosmic motifs with their albums. One song that comes to mind, Planet Caravan, for example.
Yeah. Like one of my favorites too is Sweet Leaf, and just different like sounds that they were able to create, especially in that time when it wasn't like computer based. Like now we can generate any type of sound we want. Yeah, but I just love how like even Iron Man and like War Pigs, how different that was.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's just like I just feel like that I love when my brain senses something different and something new, and that was really different and new. It's still even to this day. Yeah, Black Sabbath is the same as Missy Elliott. It's like they just sound different.
No doubt. No doubt, Flip. So what year did you come out to California?
Oh, let's see. So I've been here since 2016, actually, at the end of
Oh,
that year.
oh my goodness. So that's not too long ago. I mean, 5 years, no more than 5 years,
Yeah, I feel
right?
like I guess I can on paper say that I'm an official like resident local, but still so much to learn. And each time, I kind of started out in like the downtown area and then moved to Hollywood and now up in the valley that I never thought I would move up here. Um, each borough really is its own little city. Um,
Yeah.
so still exploring everything to this day. So yeah, I'm still enjoying it for sure.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And what was kind of your what brought you out here? Was it the music? Was it or was it work?
Yeah, so definitely at the time, I went to SCAD in Savannah, Georgia, and majored in fashion design. What my specialty was and still is, I've just kind of put it on the back burner for now, is knitting sweaters and knitwear. So I decided, okay, where are the fashion capitals of the world after I get my degree? I'm definitely going to either need to go to New York or Los Angeles. After I started visiting New York a few times, loved it to visit, had a lot of friends out there. I am too laid back for New York to live there. I realized very quickly that it was not the city I needed to go to because I think I would have gone through some really wild ups and downs. Even just trying to get to work on the subway, I'd be like, I can't do this anymore. I'd probably be
Yeah.
so dramatic about it. So I was like, you know what? I'm from the East Coast. Regardless of the limiting beliefs I have of my capabilities in New York, I'm gonna move to LA because when but now would I do that? Um, Especially since I had no family over here, didn't really have any ties to it at all, except for the fact that it just LA sounds good when you
Yeah.
don't know it. I had visited a couple times and then realized too that after visiting, I was like, okay, I really can see myself living here. They definitely still offer a lot of fashion jobs and a lot more of the fashion jobs that I was seeking
Oh,
anyway.
okay.
So, so yeah, that's what led me here originally, and from there worked in fashion and corporate. Ended up getting my dream job on paper in fashion, which was with Revolve.com, which is one of my favorite online e-commerce brands. But
Okay.
I still just knew, like I had said, that I found people who like eat, breathe, and love fashion. I used to feel that way, but I was like, okay, I think that something else is in my sights. I don't know what it is yet.
Mm,
Quit my job actually January 2020 before we knew anything about COVID was,
yeah.
how the year was going to turn out. And so I basically know that I would have probably gone furloughed or fired anyway when the pandemic hit, because basically everybody that was in the office did end up losing their job, at least temporarily,
Hmm.
if not permanently. So it was this weird kind of cosmic thing where it just, for me, like the fashion side of things just came to a close, at least for a little bit, or for right now. I still have
Yeah.
major love for it, but yeah,
It's just
just it was time to go.
right. It's a different season for you now.
Different season, perfect way of describing it.
Mm. And so um talk about how you met Marcus, your producer,
Yeah.
and Surf Records and everything along those lines. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so that was actually this story's kind of funny. I never really did the LA party scene, like the Hills parties. And I have a friend who is really good about like finding all of those and loves to go to them. And
Ah,
I guess this was like November 2019 at the time.
okay.
She was like, Flip, you never come out to these, like, let's go do it. Like, let's go to one of those like YouTuber houses. It was the Phase House, which I still don't necessarily know that much about. But it's just huge and they film a lot of YouTube videos there. Uh,
Okay. You said the Phase House, Flip?
mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's probably all the information I know about Phil, which is unfortunate. Sorry if they end up watching this. But yeah, so we decided to go randomly. I'm with, it's not just that friend, but I think 3 other friends decided to come with. And I see this guy, which Marcus, Surf, and he's wearing a leopard print puffer jacket down to the floor, no shirt, sunglasses, and like this, just basically like a wild outfit. And I turned to my friend and I was like, I have to just go like see what that kid's name is. Introduced myself, and after that, like, just kept in contact. But I was like, again, like I was talking about with the music that catches my eye, like originality. I was like, I want to know what that kid does.
Yeah.
And it turns out,
curiosity.
Yeah, and like we were hanging out for a little while before I knew how talented he was at producing and making music. And then, like I said too, he just like one night we were just hanging out and for fun he was making a song and he was like, you should lay down a verse, or like, I know you like to write, you should record what you had written in your notebook. And after that was kind of like, well, if you didn't want me to make music, like now I caught the bug, so we're going with it now.
That's awesome. And the rest is history, right?
The rest is history. Now Starry Eyed was born.
Yeah, no doubt. And yeah, and by the way, yeah, Surf Marcus will be here next week.
Yes,
so
he will. Cool. Yes, he will. Very excited to watch that one too.
Yeah, what a treat for me, because I get to talk to you, both of you, on consecutive weeks, and I'm going to learn so much about both of you. Yeah. But yeah, so you met Marcus, and then like you said, you discovered how talented he was or is when it comes to music and producing, and yeah, and what about now, Flip? What are some of your contemporary musical influences now? Who do you like now? Is there anybody out there that really catches your ear?
So this is the sad part for me, is that like I was saying, I've always been the person who wanted to look and see who the up and coming artists were, and I was doing that for so long. But I think because we were spending so much time in the studio and do all of that music to me, I'm more of like, okay, I want more like quiet time. So I'm not as like much of a consumer of other music right now. So contemporary. So honestly, I'm re-listening to the people that I've always listened to. Haven't really found any like new contemporary people. Of course, I bet honestly, as soon as I get off of this interview, I'm going to have 5 different people I'm like, I can't believe I didn't mention them.
I know, right? Happens every time.
Yeah, it happens every time. So I'm probably lying right now saying I can't think of anybody. But I know that there are an extreme amount of talented people that are coming out every day. And I'm always listening to like the radar releases on Spotify. So it's really just me listening. And then unfortunately, I need to pay more attention to the names and people that are dropping music. But right now, too, the people that we're listening to are, I'm fortunate enough to say that they're Surf and I's friends who are also making music. So a bunch of the times that we do listen to music, we're providing feedback to our friends, listening to what they're cutting, listening to what Surf's made in the studio with other artists. So yeah, that's kind of the music right now that we're listening to.
Very cool. Yeah, Flip, personally, I'm a big, I grew up, I was a kid in the 80s. I was a teenager in the 90s. So those 2 decades for me are very, have a very special place in my heart. And I'm constantly listening to artists from those 2 decades, early 2000s, as well, but now, like present day, this moment, there's only the handful of artists that I really I can tell you. I do like The Weeknd, some Drake, stuff like that, in both R&B and hip hop. some country stuff like that, you know. But for me, it's like my wheelhouse is always going to be the older stuff, you know. That's just me, you
Same. And
know.
you know, as I get older, I start recognizing why, you know, you were going over to your friends' parents' houses and they were listening to the music that they grew up with, or like, you
Yeah.
know, when I speak to my grandfather, like what type of music he remembers. It's like after a certain point, like you just don't search for any more
Yeah.
music. And so I understand that now. I definitely don't want to get stuck because I know that there's so much like
For
incredible
sure.
music being produced, but I get it. It's almost like comfort food in the form of audio. At least for me, like when I'm listening or I decide to put on music, I'm like, okay, I want that comfort food, that stuff that I know, that I love, that I
Yes.
want to put on repeat.
I love that. I like how you
Yeah,
describe that.
it's like a lot of just it's that kind of vibe. And I'd never been on like the vinyl track or a vinyl collecting kind of wave, but just started over the past year. And like one of my favorite records to listen to is like the Mamas and the Papas.
Oh yeah.
That one's just so good. Like it just sounds so good on a vinyl while you're doing other things. So yeah, just like but just old school stuff at this point.
For sure.
But yeah, I need to dip my toes back into the waters again. So
Yeah, one artist I can recommend. She's from Virginia.
okay, not too far away from North Carolina.
Right. That's I was gonna say. Her name is Callie. You might have heard of her song. She had a hit song, Callie Uchis.
I actually really enjoy her. Yeah, she is a really great artist. Yeah,
Yeah, she has that hit Telepatia
I
in
love that.
Spanish.
Yeah,
Great
she did a
song.
great job. She's super original too.
Mhm.
I haven't seen her perform live, but one of my really good friends is like that's her girl is Callie Uchis and has like seen her perform, says that she's wonderful too. So she's a good one. I'm glad that you reminded me. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, because you know, I'm an older guy myself, and you know, so that's one I can relate to. You know, contemporary artist, and
Yeah.
but yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. You know, what so Flip? What now? What kind of motivates you? What's your driving force behind your life? And you know, what going forward? You know, just in your life, with music, and just in general, what motivates you? What motivates Flip?
Ooh, that's such a good question. I feel like I am that person who is addicted to like self improvement. So, what fuels my life is every day, how can I become more in control of my emotions, my track of where I'm going, um, whatever I want to do and want to accomplish. I guess I kind of had that wake up call that's like very scary to receive, where it's like, okay, I only have a certain amount of time on this planet,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't really working smarter for a very long time. I was just working harder or like being busy doing things. But I really started to understand that I was wasting a lot of time and also not knowing how to enjoy present time and enjoying how to relax. So basically, my whole like thing now that motivates me through life is how can I be the happiest person that I can be in every moment of every day. And I know a lot of people are like, well, you know, there's ups and downs of life. Like you can't just, you know, I know there's this thing going around like toxic positivity. And to me, I don't subscribe to that belief. I think that, of course, you have to go through the emotions. There are going to be negatives. There's going to be sad days. There's going to be some depressive days. There's going to be things that are out of our control. But it's how fast can I process those emotions to become back into this stage in this state where I can enjoy life fully. Because again, like I was talking about in the beginning, like just the fact that I exist blows my mind. And I want to, you know, really just dive in as much as I can to enjoying whatever this is, you know? Is it like waking up from a dream one day? Like, is it the Matrix?
Right.
Is, I don't know if you've seen that new movie Bliss with Owen Wilson and Selma Hayek.
No, I haven't.
If you like stuff like the Matrix, it's kind of similar to that. Um,
Oh, Gotta
But
check
yeah,
that out.
just kind of going on stuff like that. And I found myself being very like limited mindset, victim mindset, gone through like anxiety and depression throughout college. Found myself in places that I never thought I would end up, especially as a kid. You're like, oh, like that sounds like something so far away. And then when you experience those lows, it's just I am grateful for them now because it shows me, okay, that's the contrast side of how I want to experience life. How can I stay as far on this side now that I can? So
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. You know, I wish I had kind of realized those things that everything you just described earlier on, you know, maybe in my early 20s, mid 20s, and appreciated all that, because now I'm a lot more conscious of all of that, enjoying every moment, living in the present, mindfulness,
yeah,
yeah.
get there, and it's a
What?
daily practice. So I feel you.
Yeah, no, definitely. You know, meditation,
Yeah,
all that good stuff. You know, and mental, mental health, mental wellness, and all of that stuff. You
for
know,
sure. We all like forget to, and I find myself as well as like you get very like if I have to say like one thing that I would get into a lot is like the feeling of overwhelm, and it's just learning how to take a step back, not feeling overwhelmed and realizing like, okay, I have a lot more power to decide, a lot more power to do, whatever it may be, you know, just believing in yourself, as corny as it might sound. It's learning that every day, how capable you are of things. So,
oh, no doubt, no doubt. Because yeah, you're right. You know, time flies.
yeah.
We only get one life, and we got to make the most of it. And yeah, you get into, like you said, all that the philosophical stuff, right? You know, why are we here? What's our purpose, and all that? And those are relevant questions. I trip out on that too. You know, on those questions, and whatever that may be. But yeah, no, I definitely can relate to that. I empathize with that. You know, and
I try not to get there too often or try to put people there too often because that can be like real. That can be a deep hole, like
yeah.
very quickly. So it's more of like when I found out how to make that motivate me as opposed to depress
Mhm.
me. That was like the best lesson. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt, Flip. So tell us what's next for you. What are some goals that you have set forth? And what's going on? What do you have on the? I know you have your video dropping on May 28th, right?
Yes.
For
I'm
a Smile
super.
High Club. Which,
Yes.
by the way, I love that title, the Smile High Club. That's awesome.
Thank you so much. I thought it was kind of clever. Um, but yeah, so I was working with this really amazing studio called Pixel Pirate Studios. I'd actually come across the founder of the company just randomly at Venice one day. Really nice dude, started talking to a mutual friend of mine, and then we started to just like ask what we were doing. Had actually no idea how good his stuff was. And then in quarantine, he had sent me an email saying like, here's some videos that I've done so far of like music videos. If you ever want me to do anything, like be more than happy. I immediately watched some of the videos in his portfolio and was like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Oh
So
wow! What's his
yeah,
name?
his name is Obi.
Obi?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
And then I think he has a team of animators and illustrators and just concept artists that he works with through the Pixel Pirate Studios. If he doesn't, then he is secretly a one-man powerhouse that like he doesn't say that, that he's
Yeah.
by himself. I think he's got a team. But yeah, so we've been actually working since September of last year getting this together. And it's now ready and going to be released on May 28th. So really excited for the first music video. And
It's done, Flip. It's complete.
it's done. It's going to be released on the 28th, ready to watch on YouTube.
Awesome.
on all
Yep.
streaming platforms. So, or not all streaming. Sorry, I should not say that. It's definitely not going to be on all streaming platforms. It's not going to be on like Netflix or anything like that. So I'm just on YouTube for now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then from there, I'm definitely going to be doing some more music videos for Starry Eyed. Haven't made any of that happen yet, but I have also been working on some new songs for hopefully a new project. So definitely stay tuned for that. That might be a few months down the road, but got some good stuff coming. So
Awesome. Yeah, no, I can't wait. And it's and you're also an entrepreneur. I just want to briefly touch on that. I know you're you have I don't skincare that you're involved with.
yeah, so I'm actually a network marketer as well.
Okay.
I actually have done this for the last 2 years, and it kind of is like a woman's entrepreneur group, but at the same time, anybody can join, men and women. And we sell cruelty-free vegan hair, skincare, now wellness that we just dropped September 2020. All products that I completely stand by myself. I had a time with like health issues, skin issues, and started using the products. My wellness and my health, I saw an extreme difference. And so once I realized that, I was like, yeah, I'm going to back this company. I didn't know what network marketing was, had no idea what I was getting into. But it's also helped that whole self-development, just mindset control, learning how to be the best version of yourself and showing up for not only yourself, but for a team of people. You know, like once you start being relied on, then it throws you in a whole different ballgame where you got to check yourself real quick.
That's awesome. So you got a lot going on.
I do. I love having a lot going on, though. I'm not going to lie. I'm like kind of a secret workaholic, but it's okay.
Hey, good for you. Good for you, right? Yeah, no, definitely. Flip, where can before we go, please tell us where we can follow you, we can connect with your music. Go ahead and plug it, all that good stuff.
All right, so you can follow my main account at Alex Filipowski. That it's kind of more of like the network marketing fun, my life side. I definitely still keep people up to date with my music on there. And then you can also follow me at Flipadelphia. That is FLYPADELPHIA. I can't believe I just did that correctly. I'm usually pretty dyslexic when I spell out. But that was always a play because my nickname has been Flip. Now I just made it my artist name as well. And whenever I would go anywhere, I have this one friend and her boyfriend, every time he sees me, goes, Flip, Flipadelphia from Always Sunny. So we just kind of played off that for the music account. I've definitely got a lot to do on the music account, but there's still some good stuff on there. So definitely give both a follow.
Absolutely. And where can we find Starry Eyed? We can find on Spotify. Yes. I know that one for sure.
Yes. So Spotify for sure, Apple Music for sure. You can actually find the whole project on YouTube as well. It's just, the cover art and you can listen to the tracks. But there will be the official video coming out soon for Smile High Club. And hopefully we'll get some other music videos on YouTube too with the tracks going. So.
Oh, wow. Awesome. I can't wait, Flip. I can't wait to see the video on the 28th.
I'm so excited for people to see it. I hope you and everyone else enjoys it. So.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Ladies and gentlemen, go check out Flip, Alexandria Filipowski. Go check out her stuff on Instagram, on Spotify, YouTube, all of those platforms, and you will not be disappointed. Flip, it's been such a pleasure having you here. You're always welcome back. I'm going to continue to support you any way I can, and hopefully we can collaborate in the future as well and have you back on. And it's that's part of the essence of my podcast here. Is it's an ongoing, once I bring on a guest, that guest becomes like my kind of like my collaborator, an ongoing collaborator, because I'm going to continue to support you and repost your content and share and follow and all of that. So that's one thing that I really really emphasize with each guest. And I can't thank you enough for taking the time for being here.
Oh, well, thank you so much. This was a great conversation. And I am so grateful that you gave me and my music a platform to speak on it. I love what you're doing. You're such a kind and wonderful person and great host. So I really, really appreciate being a part of this. So anytime you want me back, I'm here. I'll be here.
Oh, thank you for saying that. Thank you for those kind words. I really appreciate that. And
I only share the truth. So
I appreciate you, Flip. I really do. And yeah, no, let's continue to build community and support one another in any way we can. But
sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's get you back on in the future. Any shout outs you want to give out real quick before we go?
I mean, I want to give a shout out to Surf. He definitely helped produce the whole project, made it come into fruition. Definitely a shout out to Obi and Pixel Pirate Studios for producing the video that's going to be coming out soon. And then basically, not to do the Oscar speech, but my friends and family, my mom, grandpa, like my dad, everybody who gave me any type of inspiration, any type of life experience that has made me the person I am today. So, and a thank you to you as well.
Oh, absolutely. Well, thank you once again, Alexandria Filipowski, aka Flip. Ladies and gentlemen, go check her out. You just heard her story, and what an extraordinary story it is. Once again, thank you for being here. And ladies and gentlemen, thank all of you for being here once again, for tuning in on YouTube, on the audio platforms. And remember, if you want to be a guest on this podcast, if you think you're doing something extraordinary to inspire the human spirit, like I always say, then shoot me a DM on Instagram. We'd love to have you. Let's work something out. If you're a filmmaker, an entrepreneur, a podcaster, if you're paddle boarding in the Pacific Ocean with dolphins, I'd love to have you on here. So for Alexandra, I'm a DoubleAA, wishing you a great evening, day, wherever you're at. And so don't forget to subscribe on Profile Pod TV here on YouTube. So we'll be back. We'll be back for another episode of Profile Pod TV. So thanks again for being here, ladies and gentlemen. Always remember to take it easy. Thanks a lot, Alex.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.